What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. So, Foodie Beauty has done a live, crying in the car, stating this is what we have all been waiting for our entire lives. Yes, Chantal, we've all waited for you to arrange a marriage, possibly arrange a cheating scandal, and then cry in your car, citing you're going to be divorced. I know me personally, I can check all the boxes from my bucket list now. She says she feels sick, and she says, well, it's over. Then offers Salah has asked for protection and told her to, quote, not go live and say it was him. But she said she will not talk about their private relationship. She offers that this has killed her, and she clearly admits that she knows Salah had been speaking to Kay Bella. Chantal offers this will give her a karma. Now, Salah is actually in the chat as a mod during the live. Chantal reiterates she's done with men, the Kuwait arc is over, and she actually even takes a moment to ask, why is she even wearing the hijab? She doesn't believe in God in that moment. He says Salah offered it was just this one time, and he actually does attempt to call her during the stream. There is a moment in the beginning of this where she starts to blame the community for even reaching out to him, citing that she has cheated in the past, and she hopes that Salah feels the way now that she did then, expressing she doesn't care about his reputation or his family because he has ruined their family. She says that she doesn't even want to know or see the messages. She's just going to move on. She offers that at the start, she asked him simply not to cheat during their relationship, to leave if he didn't have the same feelings for her anymore. And then she goes on to say the community was right about him. She goes into this rage about Kay Bella. There's a couple times where she inadvertently talks about money during this, and this is one of those times because she said she is going to auction off the ring because she got into the relationship too quickly. And she offers that Salah came to her today and said, babe, I hate myself. I have something to tell you. And she says this was not the person that she married. I want you to keep that quote in mind because at the end of this, I'm going to go into a couple different things that I took away from this video. Because after 20 minutes of saying she's learned from Nader not to cry over people too long, in many ways directly comparing Nader to Salah, she said she is never going to go back to Kuwait and asks if Salah has a real man friend that she could marry. Someone actually brings up unicity during all of this, to which Chantal says it's not a scam, and she said she will always emerge better from these situations, citing Missy Moo, of all things. And she says that the Wish SUV is not actually even in her name. Now, I will say, I was glad to see her take a moment to appreciate Bibi and Peetz during this, both being faithful, stating that Peetz is the only person she knows that has values, and actually said she has been with him as recent as yesterday. That, to me, would be just as much against their religion as anything that Salah would be messaging to someone, by the way. And we'll get into that at the end as well. She actually talks about the cost of renting an apartment with him, so this is clearly something they've talked about or at least brought up or looked into, more than her weight loss options there, because she doesn't have any cost for those. He then, in a roundabout way, insultingly enough, asks the community for $5,000 to get Julia to Canada, and then holds up the painting that her mother bought her and screams, I gave my cats away for you, citing they will get a divorce. And side note, that's actually a pretty good painting. I'm sure that was devastating given the situation then and now, but all things being equal, she says that she will be going to see Peetz. She can't have the cat now anyway. And she starts talking about how things had been had they not been working it out. That this is a sign that she won't take off the hijab. She says that if she cared about reaction channels covering this, she would have just hid. And that this is something she just has to process, and she doesn't feel right hurting him because she still loves him. So she's just going to keep living her life. Like she's just going to move on from this, and it never even happened. Today is going to be the one day we speak about it. And she says she never wants another relationship. But then she says she does want to have fun. But she recalls that she can't have the type of fun she wants to have as a Muslim. So she says that is something she needs to evaluate. And of course, She closes everything out by saying, "We're just going to eat up the drama," and she had to pee. Apparently, in a way, she also is going to be coming back online and going to Peetz. So, that's essentially her video. Let's take a step back and let's just recall a few things, okay? First and foremost, we have seen messages between her and Natter that proved they were working together to create and fabricate drama. Storylines, videos, content. There's no reason that she wouldn't be doing that now. Secondly, today is December 28th. Historically, Chantal does things at the end of the month like clockwork to generate views and income. Now, devil's advocate here, I will say last month would have been the best month to do this because last month is really our highest revenue month. And we're actually heading into two of the smaller revenue months. Just as advertisers will pay more in November, they ultimately will start to pay less in December, January, February, because all the holiday shopping is over. Now, as I mentioned before, right now, all we really have is text and photos. And depending on how someone wants to define cheating, it'll be interesting to see how that goes because, again, we also know that she's admitting to have been with Peetz. So that could be a situation where two wrongs kind of cancel each other out. She's already laid the groundwork for him being set up by someone in the community. And I think most important, if we go back to Natter, she followed him all over the place. Even after everything came out. Even after he was with Didi. They were the three of them together. Now, I will stop short of saying that they would work with someone else in Girl World to accommodate this narrative, but now that it's out there, I definitely could see them trying to use it to their advantage or use it to the fullest. Now, what is perhaps most telling is real time. Okay, she had over 2,500 viewers in this stream. It's not a surprise to anyone. The views are down, the interactions are down, all the numbers are down. So now she has to, this being her business, look at a 4-time spike in viewership. There's no way that this is an indicator to her that this is the right path, this is what people want to see. And in time, she's kind of already giving that ideology of going back to what made her successful. As a matter of fact, she could very easily just say, well, I failed at being a revert. My marriage failed. We also don't really know the full situation. I know she's talked about going back to Kuwait, but the story that she's given has been very disjointed. She rushes back home and then says it's a planned trip. And this live stream, which came out mere minutes after most reaction channels covered what had happened, also had some pretty bad acting. So to be clear, Chantal is either at Peetz or her mother's. She gets word that Salah has been cheating on her from reaction channels. She grabs tissues and drives to a parking lot to set up a live stream, and only then does she become inconsolable. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But most important to all of those things, she has Starbucks gift cards that need to be used. So that to me just shows she was looking for an exit strategy. She was looking for a plan. What she had attempted with the Kuwait arc had failed, and she needed a way out. It's not going to be cost effective to fly back to Kuwait, just as it wasn't cost effective to have the whole Thailand trip. And it seems to me like, while certainly some of this may have some exterior pressure creating the situation, it is something that they know that they can both use to get out of a situation that is financially not being anywhere near as productive as they thought it would be. I'm going to leave you with the top comments from the last video. You know I appreciate you watching this one. And just like Chantal, and maybe, just like Salah, I will be back as soon as I can with more content.